Yeah, I think every interaction is like a bank account. For in a community, all of our interactions are like bank account. Bank account. This is kind of how the way I think of it. And you make a deposit every time that you have that positive interaction, and every chance that you have to have that is an opportunity to show that we're going to be professional, and we're going to treat you with respect, and we're going to treat you with dignity. And the question is, when other agencies or our agencies sometimes has that complaint, or that that call that could go better, or the officer that could have done better, you hope that you have enough deposits in the account that in the big picture, you're going to recognize that, okay, this is a good department, and they're trying to do the best that they can, because we all know that the bad scenarios or incidents are far. It takes a lot of good ones to make up for those, right, and stuff. And that's that's just the reality of it. So we have to try to minimize those as much as we can, and do that through training and hiring the right people, and training them as best we can, and holding them accountable, having supervisors that are holding people accountable, and starts, from the top with our chief, and that we have a culture that is treating people with respect. And we use every one of those interactions as an opportunity to show that you may have had bad experiences in the past. You may have perceptions about law enforcement, but I'm going to treat you with respect, and I'm going to do the best that I can for you when we're having this, whatever it is that we're dealing with.
Riley County is very pro community-based policing. Is that right? Did I say that right? So, focusing on the more that we can do to build those positive interactions, help us in the long run. But that's also, I think too, has a lot to do with how the officers are trained. I don't know the differences between other agencies, because obviously my experience is Riley County, but they do their training program where they have a more senior officer that's their PTO, their patrol training officer, that's training the newbies, and they have them switch around, so it's not the same officer that's training a certain person. I think they end up with 6 different training officers before they're official. So they're learning from 6 different people, and then, different supervisors on top of that, different other officers on top of that. You're always going to have challenges, because I don't think you could teach a police officer everything that they need to know in 10 years versus, a year. It's just too much. It's just like a therapist in any sort of way. You could not teach somebody enough to be able to be fully prepared for everything that's going to come your way.
Are you getting fewer community complaints about how police officers are treating the people they encounter?
I don't know our recent numbers. I have to believe that it's helping with that. I think that I've never seen a list of complaints as far as over the last, my career is 20 years, and if there's a correlation, I can tell you as a supervisor, I've been a supervisor since 2006 or 7, and I don't feel like I don't feel like I was, especially as a patrol sergeant and lieutenant, I don't feel like we're getting maybe the complaints that we got many years ago, but I don't have the numbers for that and stuff. Right. Yeah, I think one thing, the body cameras have been a good thing for all of law enforcement. A lot of times it ends the debate before it's even begun. About what was said or what occurred. I think that's a huge thing. And to be honest, it probably has been really good for law enforcement, because obviously we know every interaction is being videotaped, and that has, an absolute can have an effect, on making dang sure that you're handling a call the way that you need to be and professionally. And it's just kind of become second nature now to the officers. It's not something that they think about maybe like we did when we first got them, but body cameras are a good thing.
Yeah, I was just going to add real quick to that, because I think there's always some misconception, like kind of touching on what Larry was saying earlier. I think we're always going to have complaints, because I think people also have a misconception of what can actually be done, and the resources that can be had. So when somebody's, seeing like a situation where somebody had to be forced to go to a hospital, I know as like a mental health person, like on the stabilization unit side of things, like I get complaints from parents and family and friends of like, why are you making them stay there? Like, why can't they come home? Like, this isn't fair that you guys are doing this. When in reality, like, this is the only legal safe option that we have to make sure that this person gets help. So I think you're always going to have some sort of misconceptions and complaints related to those things whenever these are the only options that we have. The past year has been really, really hard. And again, like, I'm not a police officer. I just work with them. I haven't got to work with them as much as I normally enjoy it, which is also entertaining because I think they think I'm weird that I like hanging out with them, but it's a very entertaining group of people. There's always something weird going on. Yeah, there's absolutely people in my life. There's people in my profession. There's people in every interaction that I have that don't agree with me, and don't have the same like insights of RCPD or just any law enforcement in general. I've lost friends over the years. I've lost coworkers that we don't get along with anymore, because of our disagreements on this. And again, like, my bias comes from RCPD because that's where I've been employed. So, I mean, I can't speak for other law enforcement agencies. I can just speak for the people that I work with every day. It's different whenever you're in the field with these guys too, because when I go out on a co-responder call, like, these guys are my safety. They're my backup. Like, I can do my job because I know that if things go bad, there's somebody there that's going to help me. And so there has to be a level of trust. And there is, like, even if it's like the officer that I don't like as much, because with 119 officers, I can't like all of them. So, I mean, like, even if it's that officer that maybe is not like my best friend, like, there's still a level of trust. Like, they still know that I'm going to do what I need to do for my job, and they're going to do what they need to do to make sure that I'm safe, or the situation is in control. Whether it's somebody making the complaint or if it's another officer saying like, "Oh man, you need to check out so and so's like body cam," or whatever it needs to happen. Like, I feel like they're a pretty good group as far as like accountability. Like, but again, that's not saying that I can't say that everybody's perfect. Like, we're human. We have good days. We have bad days. I know I'm not perfect, and I know that I've made mistakes. And you have to learn from those mistakes too.